Well, Don, the other day you guys assigned a few junior players back to their respective teams. Matt Savoy is still here. What led to the decision to keep Matt, around?
Uh, I like what I've seen out of Matt. He has gotten better every day, and he can keep the pace pretty good as far as that goes. I think on the defensive side, the kids we did send back on the defensive side, Lindgren and Komarov, they had some games we wanted them to get back to that. We feel, Savoy has earned, just to stick around, and I want to see him as the pace picks up as well.
Have you and Kevin made a decision on what might be best for Yuri Kulik, whether it might be junior hockey or Rochester?
Yeah, that is absolutely a Kevin decision. I'm more, obviously, very focused on our roster and looking at the opening day stuff and the guys in the mix there. So, that's definitely a question that Kevin would be able to lend more insight on.
To circle back to Savoy, what type of growth opportunity is it to have more time to be on the ice with players, more experienced NHL guys such as that? And do you want to see him in another game, just especially considering the way that the Philly one went, where it was just a little first preseason game for a lot of guys?
Yeah, no, it like I said with Savoy, yeah, I do. He's an intriguing player. There's so many things to be excited about. I think the more experience we can immerse him in while he is here, the better and the faster he will acclimate. So, the intention is to get him into another game at least, and evaluate again from that point. But to this point, I think he fits in that, definitely in that discussion and consideration to play another game and keep reevaluating.
The maturity component of Matt, he seems like he's much older than he is. What have you kind of learned about that? How does that help? Because he seems to.
I apologize. Who is it?
Matt, I'm sorry. Savoy.
Oh, Savoy. Okay, so we're still talking about Savoy. Okay. Yeah.
Just, he seems very mature, and that seems like something that's obviously helped his career. How have you seen his maturity maybe help him acclimate to the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, with 50-some guys in camp, you're trying to get to know the new guys. So I can't say what I know of him, and I watch him and observe him, his interaction with the older players. I know the older players have been impressed. They like, they enjoy playing with him, having him on their line, and that absolutely is an indication that he's got a certain degree of maturity. He knows what's expected of him probably better than most kids his age. He knows what his skill set is and how that can be imprinted within a practice or within a line that I put him on better than players his own age. So yes, he absolutely is here longer because he has shown greater maturity combined with his skill.
With Jacob Bryson, whether he was playing left defense or right defense, what led to him getting to a more consistent game as your season went on last year?
Yeah, I think just games. You were talking about a player that hasn't had years of NHL experience. So he competes really well, and he's very intelligent. So he went through ups and downs, but he gained the experience of it, self-corrected, and he practices really hard. I mean, he practiced with the right intent to get better or resolve any challenges he's had and has. So I think he's targeted areas that he could develop, and that's been the biggest, those have been the biggest attributes to his consistency.
How much does it help? I know he works with Dylan a lot in the off season, that they push each other in the offs, because we know how Dylan pushes, and I've seen Jacob too. Is that really good for them in the
I
summer?
think it's great for him. I mean, how do you quantify it but I'm with you that I suspect that it's great for both of them because we know their personalities, their personalities and their competitiveness, and anytime you pair two guys up like that, they're going to be pushing each other, and they do. they're in a very good regimen every day and a routine every day. Skate, work out, and enjoy the rest of the day in the summertime. I talk to them quite a bit about it, and it is nice when you have the opportunity to train with a teammate, and they look better than when they left here in April, and and the nice thing is they come in here and they blend. We don't have any cliques back there, so you'd never know that these two guys trained all summer together because they just blend in with the rest of the group when they get here, and that's pretty neat as well.
What was your reaction in the summer, Don, when Vinny Hinostroza signed the contract or returned here? And in what ways is he just really important to you guys, behind the scenes and obviously on the ice?
Yeah, I was really excited that we were able to come to terms with Vinny and get him back here. He pushes the pace in practice. He's just such a competitive guy, and he's so in the moment. He's so excited every moment, and he's a guy, even in, his stature isn't big, and it's almost a situation where he's had to fight for everything he gets, and he's so ready to compete, and he has an attitude that I'm not going to be denied. I'm going to get something done here, and that's in a very infectious way. So he's an extremely positive influence on players in practice and in games. And he's one of those players. We missed him quite a bit. That was him and Zemgus, I can remember they were going to return about the same time last year, and it's no coincidence to me that we went on a much greater winning stretch, because I was mentioning beforehand we missed these types of players that elevate, the compete in our lineup, and those two came back, and coincidentally we started winning at a much greater pace.
Do you want to go full goalie? Will the goalies get the full game for here out, or do you have any sort of plan?
Yeah, no, I don't suspect they'll get the full game necessarily. We'll give probably the four that we know that have the NHL experience more opportunity, but we haven't made any decision on how that's going to break down. We're pushing it a lot harder, and we want to push it a lot harder in practice, harder than practice would be, and once the regular season starts. So we want to watch and the response there with that workload. Hopefully we practice at a higher pace than we can even play in a game. It would be the ideal over the next week. And for that reason, we won't gauge much on the lineup until I get a better feel for how they're responding to that through both communication with them and our data that we get, on the workload of a practice.
Are you willing to say which one's going to play tomorrow?
I am not, because I haven't spoken to them, so for that reason only.
I know you said some of the Kulik stuff would be a Kevin decision, but similar to looking at Savoy, you want to get at least another preseason game into him. How have you seen him progress? Are there any updates with him in this game?
Yeah, no, he's, as I mentioned with Savoy, he's shown to acclimate and improve and get better each and every day here, and so we're intrigued by that. We're intrigued by the growth, and but knowing he's a young guy, and like we talk about young guys a lot. He's in a very high development window of his career by virtue of his age, and we talk a lot about what's the best environment for that development as we consider him, and right now today, being here is the best spot for his development today, and in the process of that, yes, we want to get him in another game and continue that discussion.